What is up, guys? Jake from OneHive here with a Week 11 recap, stock report, power rankings, all rolled into one. It is a wrap, guys. It is over. The regular season is in the books. I cannot believe it's gone by this fast. Some amazing wars this week and last week. I'm sorry I missed last week's, but we're back on track now. The stock report will be a little different this week because if they're not in the playoffs, I'm just going to leave them at a hold. Again, the stock report is going to be a whole different thing next season, so be looking forward to that. It'll be competition. You guys can participate in it. There's going to be prizes. It's going to be fun. But for this season, we're just finishing out the way it is, and then we'll get on to those final end of regular season power rankings, and then be looking forward to the forecast video of round 1 of the playoffs later this week with Adam. So here we go, guys. First war. Dark Looters versus Clan Tanamo Bay, and Dark Looters getting the win 110-108. So a very close war there. Obviously, both of these clans, well, not obviously, but both of these clans are going to be in the playoffs, so that you're going to see them again. Dark Looters moving to 8-3 with that win. I'm going to leave them at a hold. I mean, honestly, with the loss they had, what was it, 2 weeks ago or a week ago? Anyways, they've had a little bit of a rough patch here towards the end, but they're still super strong. I mean, 8-3, great record. But it's just like there's almost that question mark of where are they at in their peak. You know, I've talked a lot about it over the season that teams and clans, and they peak at certain times. And I don't feel like Dark Looters is at their peak right now. And we'll talk about that with some other clans as well. Some clans that are peaking going into the playoffs and some that are not. And I think it's a huge disadvantage for those that aren't. I think it's a huge advantage for those that are. They have confidence. They have momentum. All that stuff plays a factor. Dark Looters don't think they have it right now, so I'm going to leave them at a hold. But I still think, I mean, hey, they're Dark Looters. They could win this thing again. So we'll see. Tanamo Bay moving to 6-5. I think they're a bye right now. That was a big... They've made a couple big moves here towards the end to just squeak their way into the playoffs. So a clan like that, they got nothing to lose. You know what I mean? They got a shot at this thing. They got to come out. Obviously, they're going to be facing OneHive in week 1. Tough war for them, but tough war for us. You know, it is. It really is. I think they're a bye. I think they're hot right now. 6-5. We'll see what they can do in the postseason. Second war, Power COC versus Elite Gaming. And both of these guys, let me just talk about the war first. Elite Gaming getting the win, 114-110 over Power COC. Power COC moving to 5-6 on the season, obviously not going into the playoffs, so those stay at a hold, but good season to them. They did well at times, and they struggled at times, but overall not a bad season. Now, Elite Gaming, another story there. Wow. These guys narrowly missed the playoffs. We'll talk about more of that during the power rankings. But they finished the season at 6-5 with that win. To leave them at hold, I feel like this is a good season for Elite Gaming. I think they accomplished what they set out to, a winning record in their first season when they did not come from a mixed war background. I think you're going to see them next season. I think they're going to be even better. Suomi Kotkat versus Faked Wargasm. Suomi Kotkat getting the win, 114-106, and both of these clans moving to the playoffs. Suomi Kotkat 8-3 on the season. They are hot right now. They come off a couple big wins, really stringing some stuff together towards the end of the season. I think this is one of those clans that's peaking at the right time. I think they're hot. I think they're definitely a buy. Watch out for these guys in the postseason. Faked Wargasm on the other side of that coin is 7-4 now, and they have strung together a few losses coming into this end of the season. So I feel like they're just not peaking. They're not performing on all cylinders. So they're a sell for me going into the playoffs. We'll see what they do. It's anyone's game any day in those playoffs, but right now I think these are very two ends of the spectrum as far as momentum. The Lost versus Cold September, and the Lost getting the win, easy win, 112-105 over Cold September, moving to 8-3, really did a good job. They came into the season to replace Beast Mode and just absolutely never looked back. They've been winning matches. They are super strong. Look out for these guys. Are really going to be a contender. Easy buy for me. Cold September, 1-10 on the season, obviously not going to be in the playoffs, but hey, they hung in there. They did the best they could. Hopefully they've got a game plan to regroup, and we'll see them somewhere in the CWL next season. Next, we got PWC versus 6S. Obviously, the war did not happen. 6S gets the win. PWC finishes the season at 4-7. They dropped out of the league somewhere along the way, and 6S moving to 7-4 with that win, and they are going to the playoffs. So you will see these guys again. I'm going to leave them at a hold. I don't think they're, I think they're somewhere in the middle. They're not super hot. Their momentum's not with them, but they're also not, in the dumps. I don't believe that either. I think they're just sort of in the middle somewhere. We'll see how they perform in week 1. That's going to be very interesting and be very telling, I think, whether this has just been sort of late season lack of focus for them or if it's actually something, that they're having some issues with their roster, things like that. So we'll see. Good luck to those guys. Next, Infatic Elite versus Annihilate. Infatic Elite getting the win. Annihilate, forfeiting. I'm not sure if they went ahead and dropped out. It was the last war of the season. They knew they weren't in the playoffs. I don't know. I know Infatic Elite got the win, moving to 5-6. They are not going to be in the playoffs either. But good season to them. And Annihilate moving to 2-9 with that loss, and clearly not in the playoffs themselves. So, next war, OneHive versus Mariana Trench. Wow, I don't know if you guys saw the end of this stream, but it was crazy. 111. OneHive loses to Mariana Trench on the tiebreaker. Had some dip fails, had some struggles, not our best performance. And that's why I'm putting, even though we're moving to 8-3 on the season, we should have been 9-2, no question about it. Should have won the war, just didn't. That's why I'm putting OneHive as a sell, because I think we're on the wrong side of that momentum, that pendulum going into the playoffs. Again, I deep down hope it's just, we knew where our spot was. We knew we were secured. We knew we were right towards the top of the Barbarian Conference and just look past them. I hope that's what happens. Now that it's playoff time, everyone focuses, everyone comes out strong, and we see a different OneHive in week 1, 2, 3, etc. Because they've been there before. That's an advantage. There's no question about it. So looking for that, but unfortunately, I have to put a sell. Mariana Trench not making the playoffs, so they stay at 5-6. They stay at a hold for me until next season. We'll see how they do then. All right, Cancha versus Midwinters. Cancha getting the win, 114-107, moving Cancha to 6-5 on the season. And they are going to the playoffs. I think they're a bye right now. I think they strung together a couple wins to make the playoffs, guys. They were right there on that line of making it, not making it, and they sort of came in hot. I think they might make some noise here. They might upset some people. They had their trouble earlier in the season, and that sort of seems to be behind them. So we'll see what they do. I think they're a bye. Midwinters 2-9, and obviously they are not going to the playoffs there. So better luck to them next season. Warws versus Northern members did not happen. Warws obviously being removed from the season. They finish at 6-5, and they'll be at a hold because obviously that's the end of the season for them. And same for Northern members, 2-9. Hold for them, but I am impressed. Northern members never gave up, and I think they are as good today as they've been all season long. There's a lot to be said for that for a clan that's gone 2-9 to be as good at the end as they have been all season long. So hopefully they get it together, and we still see them next season. Moral Thieves versus Buy Forever. Like, what in the world? Buy Forever getting the win. 110-110 tiebreaker. That puts Immoral Thieves at 9-2 on the season. And I'm going to leave them at a hold. They probably should be a buy still because Immoral Thieves are super strong. But where is their mindset? Is this a OneHive type thing? Is this a, hey, we knew where we was at. We were coasting. We thought we'd cruise through Buy Forever, and we just got caught off guard. What's going on there? We'll see. We'll find out in week 1. But both of these clans move into the playoffs. Buy Forever 6-5, and with that very win, that upset win over Moral Thieves, knocks Elite Gaming out of the playoffs and grabs the spot for themselves. I mean, talk about momentum. Talk about hype. Those guys are probably fired up. We'll see what they do. I think they're a buy. It's going to be interesting. It's going to be fun to watch. Spartans Legacy versus Tanamo, Killer Bunnies. Spartans Legacy gets the win, 82-79. Strange roster out there, obviously. Spartans Legacy moving to 8-3, and man, the woes of Spartan Legacy are in the rearview mirror. I think they're a buy. I think they might make some noise. Everyone was really looking at them at the start of the season. They didn't live up to that hype, but now it's like they've built that momentum back up. They've recovered from all those troubles. We'll see what they do. I think they're going to be tough. Buy from me. Killer Bunnies are moving to 3-8. Clearly not going to be in the playoffs. Good try to them, but we'll leave them at a hold till next season. OneHive 2.0 versus the Bada Bing clan. Bada Bing clan getting the win by 1 star, 108-109. Bada Bing clan. That puts 2.0 at 1-10. Really rough season. Obviously nowhere near the playoffs. We'll leave them at a hold. And then Bada Bing clan 4-7, missing the playoffs by a few wars. Leave them at a hold as well. The Swarm versus War and Glory. Wow, this one was a little bit farther apart than I think most would have predicted. 115-108, the Swarm, moving them to 11-0. We said at the start of the season, nobody would do it. The Swarm did it. They proved us wrong. Can they pull a Dark Looters? Can they sweep this thing? Can they go all the way through to the finals and get the win? We'll see. Clearly a buy, no question about it. Only clan to go undefeated, so pretty easy pick there. War and Glory, 6-5, just making the playoffs. They're in it. Not the performance they wanted, and I don't know where their mind's at. I think that I don't know. You would want to see a really close war for them going into that. So I think I'm going to put them at a sell, unfortunately. But I look for them to still maybe do well in the playoffs. I think they're capable. It's just a matter of putting it all together. North Watchers versus Reddit Alchemy, clearly a war that did not happen. North Watchers finished the season 5-6 with that win, leave them at a hold. And then Reddit Alchemy, 1-10. They pulled out really early, just the one win. So we'll leave them at a hold as well. See what happens with them. Probably not back next season, but you never know. Reddit Omega versus Dark Looters Z. Reddit Omega getting the win over Dark Looters Z, 115-113. A nice good win for them, putting them at 7-4, easily in the playoffs. I think they're a buy. I think they're good. I think they're going to make some noise in the playoffs. Again, sort of like a Spartans legacy. They had their trouble. The momentum is back. I think they're going to do good things there. We shall see. Dark Looters Z, again, the flip side of that pendulum, the flip side of that momentum. That puts them at 7-4 after the loss. They're just not on that upswing. So not that they can't turn things around and refocus. Anyone can. You look at OneHive last season. I mean, not even near the season that we had this season, and went all the way to the finals. So any clan can do it. They can focus when it matters and get those wins. So we'll see if Dark Looter Z does that. I know they're capable. I've warred them. I know how good they are. But a sell for me for right now. We'll see how it goes. And then finally, Tactical Inc. versus WHF. WHF getting the win, 112-109. That puts Tactical Inc. at 3-8 on the season. Clearly not making the playoffs, leaving them at a hold. But WHF finishing 9-2. If you would have told me that after like week 4, I would have said, you have lost it, man. Not a chance. But they have proven me and a lot of people wrong. Super, super hot right now. Performing really, really well. Winning when it matters. Definitely a buy. I think they could go all the way to the finals. We'll see. We'll see. I think they could beat anybody if they show up like I know they're capable of, like I've seen them show up. But there you go, guys. That is it. That is the breakdown of Week 11, the final week. What does it all mean? We're going to get into it right now. The final power rankings going into the playoffs. As sort of it ends the regular season, I mean, there won't be any more power rankings this season. The playoffs are the playoffs. You know, it is what it is. So this is the final Season 2 power rankings as Jake sees it. So here you go, guys. At 32, we'll go up to the top 20 or to 21 here. Reddit Alchemy dropped out of the season, obviously 1-10, no change there. At 31, PWC also dropped out, 4-7 on the season. That drops them 12 spots after the big dropout there. And then, of course, Warws getting removed. I mean, well, yeah, they were strong, but they're not even competing anymore. So they're at number 30, 6-5 on the season, and dropping 26 spots. Now, remember, guys, this is 2 weeks worth of movement. So that's the reason Warws dropped 26 spots, is because that was 2 weeks, and you know, obviously they dropped out. So, but some of these you'll see that it's quite a bit of movement, but that's 2 different wars. At 29, we've got Annihilate, 2-9 on the season, just dropping 1 spot there. But you know, been the bottom part of the rankings all season long. Same with Comb September at 28, 1-10 on the season. Actually, the reason I put Annihilate there at 2-8 is because they did forfeit the last war. So obviously, that to me puts them below a clan that actually goes out on the field and competes. Cold September at 28, up 1 spot, 1-10. 2.0, up 3 spots just because of people dropping out of the clan and movement, or dropping out of the league and movement down on the rankings. They're in at 27. And Midwinters at 2-9, bringing in spot number 26, up 1 spot from a couple weeks ago. North Remembers 2-9, up 6 spot, because those guys actually got a straight up win and then a forfeit win against Warws. But again, I've been saying it for a while. They've been getting better and better and better. I think they would beat everybody below them on this list that's in the league, you know, right now. So good job, North Remembers. Killer Bunnies coming in at 24, 3-8 on the season, up a couple spots from a couple weeks ago. And Tactical Inc., no movement at 23, 3-8 on the season as well. Bottom Bing Clan, 4-7, up 2 spots, and then just missing the top 20. Infatic Elite finishing the season at 5-6, dropping 3 spots from a couple weeks ago. Number 20, we got North Watchers, 5-6. They had a strong finish, puts them up 1 spot, just breaking into the top 20, sort of the bottom of the middle of the CWL. So nice job there. They had a couple good wars towards the end of the season. At number 19, Power COC, 5-6, bumping them up 1 spot. Then coming in at 18, Mariana Trench with that big win over OneHive, finishing the season at 5-6. All these clans that we've listed so far, obviously not making the playoffs, but that bumps them up with a big win like that. That's a marquee win. I think anybody would agree. The clan that's been in the top 10 all season long, you know, to get that win should move them, and it should. So the up 7 spots there. 17, Elite Gaming, and man, we talked about it a little bit earlier. I mean, just missing the playoffs. Barely missing the playoffs in this first season of them would be huge if they'd have made it. But hey, congratulations to those guys. A good season, up 5 spots. You know, I think they this is where they sort of were in the actual season. I would have liked to see them make the playoffs just because, hey, I'm sort of a fan. They came in and they did better than I think most gave them credit for. Now we're into the playoff clans. Here we go. Clan Tanamo Bay squeaking their way in. They're going to face OneHive, but they're down 2 spots, finishing this season 6-5. War and Glory down 6 spots from 2 weeks ago. They are finishing 6-5. They're lost to the WHF and the Swarm. Just not the way you wanted to end the season, but doesn't mean they're not a good clan. It doesn't mean they can't perform. We'll see. Bye Forever, 6-5, up 3 spots to number 14. Stringing 2 guys. They had to win 2 wars in a row to do it, and they did it. Unbelievable. I mean, the win over at Moral Thieves, I mean, to clinch that spot was just storybook. It's crazy. They're up 3 spots. They're in the playoffs. Let's see what they can do. 13, Cancha. Again, another 6-5 clan. They're up 3 spots, coming off coming strong into the playoffs. They're coming, you know, they strung together several wins toward the end of the season to get to this 6-5 record to make the playoffs. So they've got that momentum at their back. We'll see what they can do. Faked Wargasm. 7-4, coming in at number 12. Let's see, they had 2 losses in a row. I mean, that's rough. So they were much higher, but still 7-4. You can't argue with the record, but another clan that definitely does not have momentum going into that playoffs. But they could get refocused. They could turn it around. Number 11, 6 Schlitzes, 7-4 again, up 4 spots, coming off a bye week, so you know it's not like we could tell much from that last week, and then that underwhelming performance against Midwinters, that loss. I mean, you know, I don't know. I'm sorry, that was North Watchers a while back. They also I get Midwinters and North Watchers confused. Sorry, but where are they at? We'll see. They just missed the top 10, but they are easily in the playoffs. Clearly a good clan, so we'll see how they perform. But here it is, guys. What you've been waiting for: the top 10 of the season. This is it. No more rankings until season 3. Dark Looter Z just grabbing that number 10 spot, 7-4 in the season. They're up a couple spots. They did lose to Reddit Omega and then Cancha in week 9, had a bye week in week 10. So it's like, where's Dark Looter Z at? No one knows, but we're going to find out this weekend in that first round. But man, you know, a clan that definitely not really riding a high here. So that's why I've got him at number 10. Reddit Omega at number 9, 7-4 on the season, up a couple spots. I think they're coming in strong. I think they got that momentum into the playoffs, something that I think people may be overlooking. Speaking of it, number 8, Spartans Legacy, 8-3 on the season, up 2 spots, and they also have that momentum. I think they're back on track. I think they're going to make some noise. We'll see. Right above them, OneHive, unfortunately, dropping a spot down after that loss to Mariana Trench. 8-3 on the season, though. I don't think you can argue much with records at this point. You know, records are records. So they've done it. Yes, they had an unfortunate couple of losses there to WHF and Mariana Trench towards the end of the season, but for most of the season, we've done well. So it is what it is. We'll see how where our head's at in week 1 against Clan Tanamo Bay. Number 6, Dark Looters, also finishing 8-3, down 3 spots. They lost to Suomi Cat, and then they narrowly won over Clan Tanamo Bay. I mean, narrowly. So that's why I've got them at number 6 and down 3 spots. I think they're sort of in the OneHive boat. Definitely no momentum going into the playoffs, but these are 2 clans that have been there before, so I keep them up there pretty high. I have to be proven wrong. I just will. Number 5, starting the top 5 here, guys. The Lost. Can you believe it? When the Lost came in and from the Premier League and replaced Beast Mode, did anybody think at the end of the season we'd be ranking them in the top 5? I didn't, but they have come in super strong. They're up 3 spots, looking great for a playoff run. Can't wait to see what these guys can do. And number 4, Suomi Cat. I mean, talk about finishing strong. This is how you finish strong. 8-3. I mean, Cat was questionable at best at times in the season, but man, somehow have turned this thing around. They're up 9 spots from 2 weeks ago. Crazy strong finish. Awesome job. Can't wait to see how far those guys can go. Going into the top 3, guys, here it is, WHF in number 3. And I know that some people might say, hey, they're finishing strong, and they should be. But the bottom line is, if I'm making picks here, which is what I'm doing essentially, and I'm power rankings, I would not pick WHF over Immoral Thieves, and that's not a knock at WHF. That's just a lot of confidence in Moral Thieves. I think WHF could continue to shock people. I mean, they got the win over OneHive, they got the win over Tactical Link. They're winning these wars at the end. And 9-2, how can you argue with it? But they're up 2 spots. They're in the top 3, but I've got them just edge out by Moral Thieves, who are also 9-2. No change this week. Even with the loss to Buy Forever, you got to be realistic. They were 9-1. They should have won the war. They were asleep at the wheel, apparently. I don't know. I mean, I didn't see the war, but it's just, it happens. I mean, I've lived it. I know what happens. I still think they're up there and can beat pretty much anybody any given Sunday if they show up. And then obviously at number 1, no question, the 11-0 clan, the Swarm, coasting in on that number 1 spot at the end of the season. So there it is, guys. I cannot wait for the playoffs. Tune in, I guess tomorrow probably. I'll have the playoff picks. It'll be a shorter video because obviously there's not that many wars. But we're going to be there. We're going to be watching them. I'll be streaming the OneHive War, obviously. Can't wait for it, guys. Hope you enjoyed the video. Until next time, Jake from OneHive, doing my best to help you guys suck less.